Oh, how about that? Always love the racing at Talladega, and this is a big one. It's a playoff elimination race for the Gander trucks, and Michael, this is a special place.
It certainly is. Just look how awesome it is. Let's take a look at our Gander RV and Outdoors track description. 2.66 miles in length. The banks are high. The track is wide. There's all kinds of speed and all kinds of action. You just say Talladega and everybody knows what you mean. Kurt, tell us how these boys are going to go win a race.
Well, as far as our race analysis, we got 94 laps, 250 miles, and then the stages, 20, 20, and 54. That's like 3 mini races all in one, and that's what they were talking about. Just go hard, go fast, because there's 3 opportunities today to get points.
And those stage points are going to be critical in the way things shake out. And we look at the starting lineup, and it begins with a couple of guys that ran 1-2 last week. Austin Hill was the winner. Sheldon Creed ran second. 5 wins between them, and also 5 wins between those guys on row 2 as well. A couple of KBM drivers in row 3, and Matt Crafton still looking for his first super speedway win after all these years. Ben Rhodes just outside the cut line back there in row 6, Michael.
Yeah, Ben had a rough race in Vegas like we talked about. He's looking to get back on track. Let's see if we can get a word with Ben Rhodes. Hey, Ben, Michael Waltrip, Kurt Busch, and the Fox team here. Do you copy, my friend?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
Well, we just did the track description, and we said all you have to do is say Talladega, and everybody knows exactly what that means. You're on the bubble. I know that isn't comfortable. How do you go run this race today?
Well, points are really fluid here today, so that is the good advantage with Talladega, is the fact that points come and go. People move positions quite a bit. It's going to be easy to get those 6 points in my mind. We just have to be smart on these stages and let the race kind of come to us and, you know, avoid the big one. That's the big key takeaway.
All right, bud, have fun. Make Kentucky proud. Have a good day.
I'll try, Michael. Thank you.
Well, the one thing about Talladega, it's anybody's race, right? How many times we've seen the upset win or the underdog come through and take the checkered flag? How about a couple of those candidates today, beginning with Alan?
Yeah, Vince, let's think back to the beginning of the year. One of the best moments of this season came at the first race at Daytona. It was Jordan Anderson coming down to the line, the checkered flag, battling for a victory. Who can forget some of those moments as he came just inches short of getting that victory? Well, he thinks he can be a contender here again. It's the beauty of these drafting tracks, right? It equalizes the field. You can see it here, just how close he came. He believes he can do it again here today at Talladega. He believes he has the truck. It's the same truck you saw in Daytona, missing by just inches. Expect a little strategy out of him today. He says he's going to hang in back and then be there at the end of this race, join the party, and maybe get that first career victory, Jamie.
Well, Alan, it was Johnny Sauter who was leading at the finish of this race a year ago, but a penalty cost him that win. Well, he is back, and Johnny is ready for redemption. He hasn't even won a race yet this year. He's not in the playoffs, so he has nothing to lose. You keep your eye on Johnny Sauter. He wants to steal a little of that thunder from the playoff talk and be the upset victor today. Vince?
Yeah, you can't go below that double yellow line, and Sauter did that last year, and it cost him. And tell you what, we're going to get some good views. I don't know if it's going to be scary or we're going to love it.
I'm going to love it, Vince. This absolutely makes me feel like I'm behind the wheel of this truck. I love the visor cam, love riding along with Tyler Ankrum. It's going to be a lot of fun today.
Here's Matt Crafton's in-truck cam on top of the roof, and yeah, I love that visor cam. That puts you right in the driver's seat. All right, boys, Pace truck's pulling off. I'm digging it. What do you think, Mikey? We about ready to shake and bake this one up or what?
Let's do it, Ricky Bobby.
It's Talladega.
Sheldon Creed on the inside and Austin Hill on the outside. The Gander trucks at Talladega for a playoff elimination race, and we are green.
Up through the gears, grabbing them. Third gear, about fourth gear now. And now we're going to see who's got the uniform line as far as the draft and how they're going to push each other. Not too aggressive, right, Mike? It's early on, but we'll see.
Yeah, they've got to bump. That's how you get momentum. You bump into the back of the other truck, and that's a dangerous game because the wrong bump into the truck in front of you can send him sideways into that other line. And you can watch. I get nervous already, Vince. See all the bobbing and weaving? Those are trucks that are just on the edge of spinning out because of the contact, but that's how you race in Talladega.
Yeah, you can bump, but you can't lock bumpers. That's a penalty.
And as the setups have evolved at Talladega, the trucks are a little bit more unstable on the straightaway, and then they're more stable in the corners. But the worst part of the track is right here through the tri-oval. This is where you're on edge the most because you're in between loads. You're not on straightaway, you're not in the banking. It makes the tri-oval one of the most treacherous spots on the track at Talladega.
You said which line would get uniformed and have an advantage.
Look at these guys.
If we slow this down to about 55 miles an hour, Vince, it looks like we're still on the parade lap.
That's incredible.
Looks like the outside of a bit of an edge, but no, here comes Sheldon Creed in that number 2 truck trying to pull his teammate Zane Smith along with him.
See the colors in the pylon left of the screen. Of course, Austin Hill highlighted in green because he's already advanced to the next round with that win last week at Las Vegas. If you were in a yellow background, then that means you were one of the playoff drivers still in the mix. And remember, 2 will be eliminated after this race today.
Yeah, if you're yellow, you're green with envy of Austin Hill. You just can't wait till your number and your name gets flipped over to the green side, and that's what's going to happen here today. And we're going to know who continues with a chance to win our championship here.
I'm impressed with these boys. I don't know what lap number it'll be, but usually around lap 8 to 10 is when things settle with the tires and you start to get your handling characteristics. You start to feel, okay, I'm on the tight side, I'm on the loose side, or my truck's awesome and I'm going forward. But it could happen a little sooner.
Seen a few bobbles from that 18 truck, the 3rd one in line on the outside. That's Christian Eckes, his first time racing here at Talladega.
Oh, this is the shot I've been waiting for. This just makes me a wreck. These guys just have to.
Don't mention that word, Mike, please.
That's the gap you want to see. But look, Ankrum gets a run. He's going to get up and maybe bump the back of that Menards truck. And you can see over to the right, the Safe Light truck, Kyle Busch Motorsports, Christian Eckes on that cut line like we talked about. He's been bobbing and weaving. Brett Moffitt, an experienced racer, is right behind him. So I would think Brett's been gentle with the pushes. Keep an eye on that 18 truck. It doesn't look too stable so far.
Hey, don't forget about the mirror. You got to check the mirror and see who's around you, who's behind you. You're busy. You are busy in that. Here we go. We got guys side drafting a little bit more aggressive. Just lap 4, guys.
You talk about that bump, Mike. How thin is that line between a productive bump and a bump that's too aggressive?
As Larry McReynolds would say, it's the razor's edge. And you've got to make sure you dance on the right side of that edge.
I feel like, a bump draft here, if you hit somebody just the right amount, you don't spill their macchiato. That's how you push. You push just the right amount. Was that too much? Was that too much Talladega action right there?
I can't wait to see what you say next. It makes me happy.
Leading that inside line is the 2 of Sheldon Creed. Alan?
Everything going great for Sheldon Creed right now as Austin Hill gets out ahead just a little bit. But when the 2 truck of Austin Creed gets out in front, they're telling him, hey, get a lead, but don't get too big of a lead. Kurt Busch, maybe you can tell us how you do that as a driver. A lead, but not too big of a lead.
Yeah, you don't want to push yourself out there too far and have like 2 or 3 truck gaps back and they get a run at you, right, Mikey? It's if you get too far out, you create that big bubble of air that people can blow right by you with.
And another thing to watch at home, how important that double yellow line down at the bottom of the racetrack is. That is Sheldon Creed leading that inside lane's best friend. If he wanders up off that yellow line at all and Zane Smith can get inside of him, he's going to go flying backwards. Not literally backwards, but everybody's going to pass him. So Sheldon Creed's got his eye in the mirror, minding that gap behind him, but also keeping an eye on that yellow line to the left for protection.
The 38 of Todd Gilliland dropped back from where he started. Gilliland started 10th. He's fallen back to 20th and now starting to make his way back up. So I'm not sure if he got a little nervous with some of those he was racing around or had himself a handful and had to get out of line and gather it up.
Something happened up front. Like We had a change in lead. Austin Hill's got it. We can see the line on the bottom has 3 or 4 trucks out ahead of that outside line.
Last lap on the back straightaway, the inside lane came off of the double yellow. And when you do that, guys that are like 4th or 5th on back go, wait, I'm going to go to the double yellow. Now you get the 3 wide action. That's what shuffled things up, is guys weren't disciplined to stay on the double yellow on the bottom lane. But that's just people trying to find speed and trying to look around a little bit.
Race drivers typically aren't the most patient, but yet here, really, patience is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, when I ran my last truck race at Daytona, Vince, I got on the bottom of the racetrack, and I think I ran 11th or 12th for as long as I could. I was patient. I made sure I would kept my truck in one piece, stayed in line, and then as time wound down, I started to pick off positions. But the difference, Kurt, is we know how important stage racing has made every lap. You can't wait around. Lap 20, we're going to give somebody 10 points, and somebody might desperately need those to move on in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. And you're starting to see some of the teams form up. You got the KBM trucks running in the high groove, trying to tow that train towards the front. Maybe there's some steam coming out of some of the trucks by just pushing over aggressively and ramping up your engine temps.
I think that was 98 of Grant Enfinger that steam was rolling out of. We'll have to follow that. You can see he's gapped back, so that could be the case. I don't see any more right now.
There's Brett Moffitt back there, 3 wide. He's the first truck on that far outside line, about halfway back. There's the 98 of Enfinger you were talking about.
Looks good for right now, but yeah, if you push too hard for too long, your engine temps go up. So that's why you got to back off a little bit.
Already feeling a bit nervous. We've only run 9 laps. That's what we're going to have all day long at Talladega. Back at Talladega, the Gander trucks, and problems for one of our championship contenders, Grant Enfinger, with a left rear tire issue, had to come to pit road.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the Kurt, you know how close the teams want those fenders to the tires, and He has a rub for some reason, whether it was from contact from a bump draft or the setup wasn't right, but there you can see, Kurt, the way it goes.
Absolutely. No, it could be a setup issue. It could have been rub. These guys got way more than what we can. Let's go down to Jamie.
Left rear damage for sure at some point in this race. He was complaining that he felt like something was wrong, so it's definitely a rub. They're pulling that fender out there. They're going to change the left side, but big playoff implications right now for Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, Enfinger came into this race 31 points to the good, and you know you're going to have enough challenges at Talladega without having these types of issues.
But his day isn't over, Vince, and Kurt, you can attest to this. When you have trouble early, there we go.
Sheldon Creed.
Hang on to it, buddy. That is going to jumble up everybody up front. Good save.
No. Big accident deeper in the field.
The accordion effect wiped out huge. There's Zane Smith. Oh,
Joe
man.
Nemechek.
Playoff drivers involved in that one.
Dawson Cram in that 41.
Man, that's a mess.
Heavy damage. The 30 of Danny Bone involved. There's the 41 of Cram, as Michael mentioned.
Now you're okay if you're Grant Enfinger. You know, you got out of line, you survived.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down, but man, there is some carnage, and Zane Smith's day is done. We'll get a lineup of all the other damage from all the other trucks, too.
Well, and Zane Smith, as we mentioned, one of our championship contenders, came into this race 39 to the good. And now he's done just 14 laps in. Joe Nemechek.
Talked to Joe Nemechek before the race. He said he had breast cancer awareness on that truck, and he was really looking forward to charging to the front. He said, I'm going to go like I've never gone before, and unfortunately, his day's going to end early.
Wow, that accordion effect. We were watching the leader cross and change lanes, and then we've got a ton of guys in the back.
It's crazy to say, but this started it. The block that Sheldon Creed throws right there, it backed the field up.
Creed saved it, but as you said, Mike, it backed others up, and that's what led to the accident.
Watch this move.
It's just too late to get back to the bottom, and it's not like Austin Hill can check up that quick. And then the accordion effect happens, and it's about the 5th or 6th truck back on the inside lane where it bottles up. And those guys are all along for the ride. Nothing that Zane Smith can do. The 17 truck was trying to go around the outside. It's just, when you're now blocking, the wrecks are starting up further and further and further to the front. And the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the trucks, and then it's those guys towards the back that end up with the big change of speed.
Unfortunate for that 24, Chase Purdy.
Look at that job that the 15 of Tanner Gray does.
Yeah, Gray got through there.
That was awesome. He just picked his way right through that mess.
It was definitely spotter on that one. Man, you got to be lucky sometimes to navigate through the wrecks, and then sometimes the spotter sees it and helps you navigate right through it.
Johnny Sauter on pit road.
A little bit of damage there on the right side for Sauter, you can see.
Got a little right rear.
Former winner here at Talladega. You see the points in the pylon. On the left-hand side of the screen, this was leading to the incident where we are now, but we've still got a lot of racing left to go, so those numbers and those positions are going to change greatly.
They sure will. It's going to go up and down all day, but right now with Enfinger having that trouble, you know, he's going to need some lucky dogs to get back on the lead lap, to get back in contention. And the rest of these guys are going to be working with bare bond and duct tape.
Well, and some of them are done for the day. A big one early at Talladega. Probably not the first time we're going to be cleaning up the carnage. Hey, after the race today, next on FS1, Big 12 College Football Showdown, Texas Tech taking on Skylar Thompson and Kansas State. Kansas State coming off that big win over Oklahoma last week. All kicks off next on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Under caution here at Talladega for the Gander trucks, and we're told they're going to bring them to the tri-oval and then stop the trucks and go under red flag conditions while everything is cleaned up. And 11 vehicles involved in that big accident, and including that 21 you just saw of Zane Smith. He was the only playoff driver, championship contender, that was involved, but plenty of damage done to a lot of drivers who had hopes of winning this race today.
I like this call. I like this call by NASCAR to bring the trucks to a stop. We've got 5 laps to go in this stage, and we all know how points are so important. And so it's a good call to slow things down, mainly for safety. We've got to get pit road cleaned up. Looked like Joe Nemechek was throwing a bunch of water and oil down. There's tow trucks everywhere, ambulances everywhere. And so this kind of helps reset things.
If you're just joining us, this is what happened. Watch at the front. Sheldon Creed dives down in front of the 16 of Austin Hill and then has to really gather up. A little bit of contact from the 2 as he moves down in front of the 16 right there, and it causes those behind him to check up a little bit, and just a little checkup creates havoc.
And look what they're trying to see through, Kurt. We're riding along with Matt Crafton and his onboard camera. It's up on the roof. He can see a little bit, but the further you get back in the pack, when this happens up front, people begin to let off the gas, and you just have no idea why or what's happening. And remember, you got a spotter, and he's saying, check up, check up, check up. But that's at nearly 200 miles an hour, just simply isn't time. Looks like the first contact came from Zane Smith, who got into the back of his teammate Chase Purdy in the 24, and that caused this mess. But Zane was just a victim of what happened up on that front row.
Yeah, it's the accordion effect. You literally can't see through only but 2 or 3 trucks ahead of you. But that all, again, was the Sheldon Creed lane change too late. Main reason is Crafton was pushing the heck out of Austin Hill, and that's what you're going to do when you're in that position, because you want to end up pushing the guy in front of you to the lead.
So what's this mean for Zane Smith, one of our championship contenders who suffered the heavy damage there?
He is going to be watching our Fox Sports broadcast closer than anyone. He's still in a position to make the playoffs. He just needs somebody else to have more trouble than he had or later in the race. So he's still got a shot, and he's going to watch this race intently.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's the emotions of sitting here watching to see if you're going to advance. Nobody knows where the points will end up here through stage 1 and stage 2, but right now Zane's got +9, so we'll see how that plays out.
Well, it was amazing that Sheldon Creed was able to gather that up at the front of the pack. Let's check in with Alan, who's with his crew chief.
Yeah, Vince, certainly some tense moments for Sheldon Creed. All of us watching that at the front of the field. I'm with his crew chief now, Jeff Stankiewicz. What is that like for the crew chief watching that?
Well, I mean, it's pretty nerve-wracking, you know. It's pretty early in the race to be blocking like that, but we were just trying to maintain the lead there because if we can get the stage win and get the 10 points, we're guaranteed into the next round. So we're just trying to win this stage and secure ourselves in, and then after that, what happens, happens. But just a deal where the spotter said, get down, and he hesitated just for a second, and they were pushing behind, and just bad timing on our part. I hate those guys got wrecked. That's not good, but we'll just have to move forward on this and try and get as many points as we can here.
We're 15 laps into this race. How much is handling playing into all that?
Right now, he said the truck's moving around a lot. Pretty loose, he said, especially when people get to his door. It's jumping around sideways on him pretty bad. So may have to do a little adjusting when we come into our pit stop.
All right, adjustments on the way for Sheldon Creed, guys.
That's one of the best interviews I ever heard. A crew chief just breaking it down, saying exactly what happened. As a commentator, a guy that has watched races for many years, that's exactly what went down. And you can see the spotters are up on the grandstands on the front straightaway. And I've been up there in the spotters stand watching. You won't believe how it's nearly a mile away, it seems, over there in turn 3 where the spotter was trying to clear Sheldon Creed. It just didn't go down the way they needed it to. I really appreciate Stankiewicz taking responsibility for his driver for that, because that's exactly what happened.
I mean, Derek Nealon, the spotter for Sheldon Creed, was saying, get low, but things happen so quick and it's a mile away, like you're talking about, Mikey. But a bunch of these guys in the Truck Series have Cup Series veteran spotters. If we could find stats for spotters on race wins or how many wrecks they've avoided, the spotters are just as important here as the driver on helping navigate the race and calling a race.
Yeah, you feel like the drivers have to have quite a bit of apprehension before this race. I would think that could be said about the spotters as well. Got to be one of the most challenging events for them because of the size of the track, the speed of the drivers, and how close the racing is from beginning to end.
Yeah, Josh Williams is Zane Smith's spotter, and last time we were in Talladega, Josh went to victory lane, so he knows what he's doing up on the spotter stand. It's just one of those deals at Talladega that was unavoidable for that team.
Let's get a little radio from the 16 team of Austin Hill.
That replay, he was really close twice from getting turned by you. It was nothing you could have done any different, really. Did him a huge favor.
Oh yeah, I mean he hesitated, so I was like, well, I'm going to keep going, and then it was like a hard turn left, and I lifted as fast as I could without getting ran over from behind. So I don't know.
I think we're all in agreement with what happened.
And that's how quick it happens. I mean, it's just Talladega. As soon as you hesitate one little moment, there's consequences for a lot of different scenarios.
Scott Zippadelli, the crew chief for Austin Hill, was coming off that big win last week at Las Vegas. This is how it all began, or ended, depending on what seat you're in.
Welcome back to Talladega, Alabama. We are under caution after the first accident of the day, claiming 11 trucks. And the biggest one, though, the 21 of Zane Smith, the one playoff driver involved in all of that. Zane, how do you describe this moment and the playoff implications at this point?
Sucks, for sure. I don't know. They just kept getting bunched up in front of me, and then my teammate got all out of shape, and I was just kind of an innocent bystander. But man, it sucks. You don't really get opportunities like I have often, so I'm just trying to make the most out of it. But I don't know if I'm out right now, probably, but I don't know. I guess we'll just try to look at the bright side on everything, and if I am, we won't have to worry about the championship no more and just go chase some wins.
All right, Zane Smith, the rookie, he's going to sit and watch and see if he is indeed out.
Yeah, he won the ARCA race here a couple of years ago, but was making his first truck start here today. Already a couple of wins this season, victorious at Michigan and Dover, one of the bright young stars of the season, that's for sure.
He's been a pleasure to watch, and just the way he's able to, anything he hops in, he's very competitive and get some big wins this year in the truck. I know it's depressing right now, and as he said, it stinks, but he's still got a shot at it, Kurt.
He's still got to just hang on to a glimmer of hope and see what happens here as these stages unfold. And we're not done wrecking yet. It's Talladega.
I was
plenty of good quality trucks.
Guess the same thing, that we're going to see a couple more spins probably.
Well, Smith needs, you hate to root for someone else's demise, but that's what Zane Smith needs in regards to some of the other playoff guys. There's going to be just a couple of laps left when we take the green here to resume stage one. And remember, those stage points are critical. Christian Eckes and Chandler Smith, a couple of Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks on the front row. Pace truck is off. They'll take the green, and there'll be 2 to go in stage one for the Gander trucks here at Talladega.
Green, green, green.
Watch the 51 truck. He probably won't get a great start,
Keep up with it. He's going to follow
allowing
the whole
his
bottom lane
teammate
here.
to pull over.
Put tail down there. Still just 2 wide. Nothing on the line behind you now. Still lock on into you. 51 half in front. Clear high. Real slow one at the very top. 10 ahead of him. Got 2 coming by you. 1/2 quarter, tight, tight, tight. Still out there, lined up. Still out there. Still out there.
Wow, Austin Hill and Matt Crafton going to the top side.
Wow.
Making it 3 wide for positions.
Todd Gilliland desperately needed these stage points, and he fell back. Great move by Creed to get the lead back. The teammates of Kyle Busch Motorsports broke up for a bit, and that allowed Creed to get that big run.
Impressive restart for some of the guys, and then with Crafton, man, he has got the anchor out right now. He's got to try to reset with 1 lap to go in this stage, but Creed got everybody on the bottom right now, and he's controlling this race.
Remember, 10 points divvied up amongst the finishers, the top 10 finishers here in stage one, and those points are crucial for some of these playoff drivers.
Look at the big run on the outside from Austin Hill. He's got a tight draft from Gilliland. Gilliland's rebounded after that bad first lap.
We got the KBM trucks on the inside, running second and third on the inside lane. Let's see what these guys are able to do.
Tyler Ankrum 4th on the inside.
I just hope they make it.
Everybody's white knuckling it right now. Coming down through the tri-oval, everybody's up on edge. Gilliland's pushing Hill
for the stage one win. Who's going to get it? Austin Hill.
And that happened because the inside lane wanted to break up a little bit. They didn't quite stay as aggressive as Todd Gilliland right there helped control that for Hill, and Gilliland needed that to get all those stage points. So great job by Gilliland.
Yeah, it was important for Gilliland. He came into this race 10th out of 10 in the playoff standings. Last week's winner, Austin Hill, picking up where he left off. He wins stage one at Talladega.
his pit box. Right side tires only. Balance is pretty good, a little bit guarding. Christian Eckes in the 18. Kyle Busch Motorsports brings it down. Balance has been pretty decent. They called for fuel only, no tires there, Alan.
And we were looking at the pit stop for Sheldon Creed. They made an adjustment to help with that loose on the race truck, but they also said you have to listen quicker on the radio when making moves. That was the direct message from spotter Derek Nealon, guys.
Well, it's interesting because Creed and Derek Nealon, as Alan mentioned, the spotter for Sheldon Creed, Nealon told him, get down, and Creed hesitated just slightly, and it almost caused his own accident, and it did cause some contact behind them. But how quickly do you have to I mean, you almost got to be on the same page literally as the spotter, right? I mean, as soon as he speaks, you're moving.
He'll learn from this, but as a good driver, you have to know and anticipate what the spotter's going to tell you, and you're already a step ahead of when the spotter's going to deliver you information. But he was loose, right, Mikey? It's hard. When you're leading and you got guys on your rear bumper, he's loose because he has all that clean air on his nose. And I watched during that pit stop, they did like 3 rounds out of the right rear, and that will tighten up a truck with the wedge that they put in with a full tank of gas there. So
wow, big adjustment. We're going to have stage 2 from Talladega. Playoff elimination race for the Gander trucks. Austin Hill wins stage 1, and Sheldon Creed guarantees that he'll advance to the round of 8 with his stage 1 performance. Let's check in now with our race day studio and Caitlin Vincey, Todd Bodine, and Phil Parsons. Caitlin? Thank you, Caitlin. Well, one thing for certain, as they indicated, this is just the beginning. I mean, we've got stage 2, the final stage. I mean, this is Talladega. It's what we've come to expect. And we saw Todd Gilliland come back on pit road for a second time as well. So let's check in with Jamie and figure out what's happening with that team and the issues.
Yeah, Vince, they made a total of 3 stops. Now, when they came in the first time, the plan was to take rights only and make a shock adjustment on the right front. They didn't get that adjustment, so they brought him back in, put left sides on, and missed the adjustment again. So they brought him in a third time to get it done. They told him now, just ride around, but don't lose the draft. Tough break and a very frustrated team right now down here.
Yeah, but as you said, Mike, if you're going to have problems, have them early.
That's right. And also, you know, you got a chance to recover. Then you have to be smart how you race through this field. This is going to be really interesting, Kurt. A lot of the guys up front stayed out under that caution flag, and now, or excuse me, pitted during that caution flag. Now they're going to be up front. How will these trucks handle, and how will they act while they're up front?
Yeah, there's 4 trucks that stayed out because they pitted and they weren't worried about stage points, and now they leapfrog and gain that track position. And so now you got Creed back in row 3. And here we go. We got the restart. We'll see how these guys play with the guys that haven't been up front. Let's see how aggressive they are to push their way through.
That's Derek Kraus leading that inside line.
Clay Greenfield up on the top behind Rafael Lessard. So Greenfield was involved in the crash, did his pitting, and now he stayed out, and he's got great track position.
A couple of 19-year-olds leading the charge there. Kraus on the inside, Lessard on the outside.
Oh, man, this is just nerve-wracking. Look at those trucks dance. Kurt, are you sure you want to go to Talladega in the morning? Look at this stuff.
Cup cars handle way better than the trucks. I tell you, the straightaways are where the handling is at its worst. And then in the banking, things calm down. But got the outside lane that just can't quite form up. Right now, the momentum is definitely on the inside. Anytime when you start as a spotter to count more trucks in one lane versus another, you're telling your driver, hey, you need to be to the inside right now. There's way more trucks down there.
And look who's stuck on the outside again, Matt Crafton. He just hadn't been able to make anything work today. He keeps trying, though. He's going to go 3 wide. He's got Sheldon Creed in that blue 52 pushing, or excuse me, Stuart Friesen pushing, and Sheldon Creed up ahead of him.
Yeah, they're just not so sure at Greenfield right now, so they're trying to do what they can to leapfrog him.
Lessard jumps up on that top lane run as well.
That poor guy.
He's
Greenfield. Yeah.
He's Greenfield in the middle.
That's just part of restrictor plate racing. You got to have friends.
Up front, it's Derek Kraus and Johnny Sauter. Chandler Smith in the 51. Ben Rhodes is there, the 99. And Austin Hill, 5th one back, was the stage 1 winner. And just reiterating, Austin Hill wins the stage, and Sheldon Creed, with his stage 1 finish, clinched his spot into the round of 8. So now 2 drivers have secured positions into the next round.
Love the on-track, on-board truck camera hanging with Crafton, and we're going to listen to the throttle. Well, we were, as far as how much he pushes versus how much he lifts off the gas, because he's in a spot where he wants to be aggressive and push that outside lane. But here's the thing, like, this is 13 to go. Right after a stage in a cup race, we've got like 40 to 50 laps. We all kind of settle in. Not here in the truck series. These guys, they're racing with 12 to go when they cross the line for stage points and to advance through the playoffs. These guys are elbows out, pushing hard all race long.
Yeah, these first 2 stages are like sprints, right?
It is. I mean, you're just trying to settle in for a quick second. The next thing you know, your spotter's like, all right, 10 to go. You're like, what?
Yeah, there's a guy that is watching every lap of this race slip by, and that's Grant Enfinger. He's the first truck off the lead lap. He's got a couple of guys up there at the back of the lead lap that he hopes can stay on the lead lap until the stage ends so he can get a free pass and get back in the game. So Enfinger's got a different agenda. He wants to make sure that the other guys don't get lapped so that he can be the free pass.
His day would turn a lot better if he can get a free pass here at the end of this stage.
Because we know you see him there, that 98 with the trouble earlier. Got Tim Duggar, Alabama native, riding on his tailgate, or excuse me, on his back deck there in the champion truck. But he wants to stay right with this lead pack. He wants to have all those other trucks not get lapped. When the stage ends, he's going to be in a position to get a lap back. And then when he's one down, Kurt, we know he's going to be able to get that lap back because he's the fastest truck out there.
Absolutely. That's what he's trying to do. But I like how Kraus is keeping poise right now, keeping everybody behind him and leading the inside lane right down on the double yellow.
Hey, look at that playoff board on the left-hand side of the screen. You've got Hill that's advanced, Creed that's advanced, Moffitt certainly feeling good about things at plus 46, but from Ben Rhodes on down, it's nail-biting.
High stress situation. Well, look at these guys, all single file. Okay, all right, 10 to go.
Kraus leading the way. The 19-year-old finished second at Darlington earlier this season. One of 6 drivers in the field today that's finished second in a race this season but hasn't won. Boy, you get that first career win, come in a race like Talladega. Boy, how memorable it would be. The Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series on FS1 from Talladega. 7 laps to go in stage 2. Austin Hill was the stage 1 winner. Already had a big one. I don't want to say it was the big one because we've still got a lot of racing left. 11 trucks were involved, including championship contender Zane Smith. He was the only playoff driver that was in the mix of those 11 that crashed, and all have been checked and released from the care center, by the way.
See that back 4 or 5 trucks trying to get formed up to make a run, and Kurt, the more success they have, the more guys will pop out of that bottom lane to hop out there and help them.
And then you end up with guys right there with Eckes looking to the low side, and they end up 3 wide, and nobody's able to make up ground. You gotta get uniform if you're in that group that's about 10th on back.
Hey, if you're
try to pull up there.
Yeah, if you're further back on that inside line, what do you see on the outside that makes you want to get up off the bottom and join that outside line?
Simply them getting bigger. When you see them getting bigger in your mirror, you're like, they're making progress. I'm stuck here on the bottom. When they get right to my bumper, I'm going to pull out and use that momentum to push me forward.
It's all about winning by numbers. You get more in one lane versus the other, that's going to be the hot spot to be. So you just always got to be watching, and you always have to have your spotter letting you know.
Final 5 laps here in stage 2. Already a big shuffle in the playoff picture. Remember, Zane Smith out of the race because of that damage, but right now he's still in the playoff mix to advance. Radio for Matt Crafton in the 88.
Big picture, we lost 2 of them in that wreck, so let's be smart.
That was inaudible, but that just shows you the frustration and how much anxiety it is out there trying to manage the draft, Matt's been 3 wide, he's been on the high side. He hasn't really been down on the bottom, just logging laps. He's been working his tail off up there, trying to get a stage point here, get up toward the front.
That's a driver in full stress mode. Right now you're +1 on the cutoff bubble. That's what that is. That's how intense every single stage point is. That's why these are 3 mini races all at once. He's all fired up. We're not even halfway. It's because of the stage points.
Yeah, Crew Chief Junior Joyner didn't look all that stressed, though, did he?
Well, you got to remain calm when you're in charge and be a leader. And there's not a better leader on pit road than Junior Joyner. I can promise you that. Look at Matt. There's nobody trying harder than Matt Crafton either.
It was amazing. You heard that fret in the voice of Crafton.
Oh, this ain't going to end up good. Oh,
big hit. Gus Dean driving for Timmy Hill and the Hill brothers this weekend.
Been running up toward the top 10, Vince, and just the truck's got a little bit out of shape. And Gus, he was just simply a victim of circumstance.
Man, those are tough hits. Those are tough hits.
Former winner here in the ARCA series, and certainly had high hopes for today.
Run around on the bottom, and it looked like he just overreacted. And then the 15, Gray wanted to get back to the bottom. That was 2 guys trying to like walk down the hallway at each other, and they both chose the same position at the same time.
Gus Dean was running 10th at the time, and here's that contact with Tanner Gray.
Man, Tanner Gray just cut him off. I mean, there's no 2 ways around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gray was stressing because he got shoved into the middle right here, and he's trying to get back low, but he was down there.
Cut him off twice. And the second one was just Dean couldn't withstand that one.
There's times when you're in the middle and you're like, everybody's driving by, man, it's a hard hit. And you're checking the mirror at the same time, right, Mike? And you kind of lose track of where you are, if you're on the middle or if you're on the low lane. There's a lot going on when you're the guy that's in the middle.
Well, this will end stage 2 with Derek Kraus as your stage 2 winner. Top playoff driver in the mix is Austin Hill, who won stage 1. The 56 of Gus Dean on the hook and headed to the garage. After this one vehicle incident, he hit the wall hard and was helped there by the 15 of Tanner Gray.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was a block and then another block, and there was nothing Gus Dean could do, and most certainly didn't see it coming that he could cut him off like that.
Have the name of Corey Wellahan on top of the door you see there just above the window on the passenger side. TikTok and Instagram star. Over 1 million followers on TikTok. I mean, that's up in your range, Michael.
I don't know how he does it.
That's fabulous.
Got married yesterday, so congratulations to Corey.
That's awesome. TikTok's coming to NASCAR.
Yep.
Sponsoring Ryan Vargas in the Xfinity race. Check out all that technology. That just means don't pit.
Pretty simple, isn't it? The green and white checkers ending stage 2 under caution with Derek Kraus, your stage 2 winner. And as far as playoff drivers there in the top 10 to get stage points, Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, Todd Gilliland, Sheldon Creed, Tyler Ankrum, and Matt Crafton.
What about Todd Gilliland? We saw him make that extra pit stop, went to the back of the field, and was able to drive up to 7th. That's a great job by that young man.
Points earned today, and of course those that are in the playoff mix, this is critical. Hill has already clinched, of course, and Sheldon Creed has advanced as well. Brett Moffitt will.
We're going to move Moffitt over here in a bit, but Christian Eckes had a tough second stage there, finished outside the top 10, didn't receive any points here, and he's just bouncing right on that cut line.
And if you're wondering about Grant Enfinger and Zane Smith, Enfinger had a tire issue, left rear tire issue early in the race, fell a couple of laps down right out of the gate. And then Zane Smith was involved, the only playoff driver involved in that big accident on lap 13, involving 11 trucks. So Smith is out of the race, but he is still in the mix as far as drivers potentially moving on to the round of 8. Remember, 2 will be eliminated at the end of this race today.
They're going to need all the points they can get to move on and pass Smith, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
How nervous you think Zane is watching this, knowing that he's out of the race? There's nothing he can do, but he still could stay and survive in the next round.
Helpless, right, Kurt? You just watch and hope.
You're just watching and hoping. I mean, you're sitting there hoping that others have trouble, which is always tough to say. But at the end of the day here, there are going to be from 4th on back in points are only plus 10 to the good. The end of this race is going to be nuts.
Pit road is open, and we'll begin with Jamie Little.
And Ben Rhodes in the 99 pulls into his pit box. No top 10s ever here, but he's been top 10 all day today. Truck has been good. They'll take tires and fuel. The 19 at Derek Kraus, well done by him. 10 laps led all season long so far today, led 19 laps. Doing a good job. Changes helped earlier, better in the trial. Well, let's go down to Allen.
The bottom of your screen, Austin Hill, a strong run for him, but he says getting off the corner, he's so loose. At times, he is turning the wheel to the right. Yes, at Talladega, so they're making a big adjustment. 1 inch down on the track bar and 4 tires to the 16.
Why didn't Rafael Lessard pit?
Hill the first one, Moffitt the first one off pit road after electing not to put any tires on. Austin Hill put on 4, and there's the group that stayed out.
Chandler Smith looks like stayed out, and Rafael Lessard. That's interesting.
But one key thing I saw, it was off air, it was an Enfinger, was running close enough to the front to have those guys pit and picked up a lucky dog right there.
2 stages complete, 1 left at Talladega. Hey, tomorrow on Fox, star-studded showdown in Dallas. Baker Mayfield and the Browns taking on Dak Prescott, Zeke, and the Cowboys. You might get the Giants and the Rams. Just check your local listings for the game in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Back here at Talladega, 2 stages complete for the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. Get ready for the 3rd and final stage. And so you think maybe you'd like to be a pit crew member, right?
I don't think I would.
Well, how about Kyle Warner here? Check this out. Member of Jordan Anderson's pit crew getting squeezed right in between as Austin Hill tries to get out of the box. Watch this look here. Watch Warner, the rear tire changer for Jordan Anderson.
The spoiler on the 16 truck got bent when that happened. That's how hard of a hit it was for him.
Man.
Ouch.
16 truck spun his tires and it drug the rear end around, and look.
like Superman, he just bounced right back up.
He's like, that was fun. You kind of have to have that attitude, right? If you're a pit crew guy with all that truck and all the action going on down there.
Wow, absolutely. You just got to roll with it sometimes. Glad he's all right.
Me too.
Sure, that could have been a disaster. All right, how about those that are pitting now, Jamie?
Yeah, you notice that a few of them are the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks. So I just talked to Rudy Fugel. He's a crew chief for Christian Eckes, and he told me at this point in the stage, they felt like their safest bet was to hang in the back. So they wanted to bring him down 1 lap later than the rest of the field. They just brought him down a 2nd time to top off. Now the KPM teammates are together, and they're going to ride around for a while and watch what happens ahead.
Well, this final stage, quite a bit longer. As you look at our points currently with 50 laps to go.
That's an interesting strategy, Kurt, that KBM has pulled here, because as you can see by looking at our points, Christian Eckes, that puts him on the outside looking in, had a tough 2nd stage, and now he's in the back. I'm interested to see how this plays out, but good news for our man Grant Enfinger. You can see that damage to the left rear fender. He had a flat tire early, went 2 laps down. He just got the free pass and got one of those back. I'm telling you, Grant Enfinger, Tim Duggar, that whole team, they're going to be in a position to get that other lap back and race for a win.
Yeah, right now they're doing what they can as a team together to survive this day.
And Zane Smith, who's out of the race, is still in the playoff mix to move on to the next round, 15 to the good. So the 2 drivers that have had the worst days as far as our championship contenders, Zane Smith and Grant Enfinger, both find themselves currently still in the mix to move on to the next round, while Christian Eckes and Todd Gilliland are on the outside looking in.
And Todd Gilliland's been the hardest working guy today. He's got 13 stage points so far. Everybody here is still in the mix. That's what's wild about this whole playoff scenario.
Sheldon Creed and Brent Moffitt to get us going again on the front row. They've already locked themselves into the next round. The final stage is underway at Talladega for the Gander trucks.
Here's one thing I know about Talladega, right, Mikey? Here we go. If you ain't first,
you're last.
That's right.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. You could be 2nd. You could be 3rd.
That's not what I said.
4th.
That's not what I said, Ricky. Gosh. Go, boys. It's on the last stage at Talladega.
Look at this big push on the outside. Wow. Ankram's getting crazy loose with the shove from behind.
And that's where one guy's pushing more aggressive than what the other guy's ready for as far as his handling goes.
Well, he's Ben Rhodes in the 99 giving that 26 of Ankram the big push.
He was pushing more aggressively than I'm ready for, too. We got a lot of racing left, and we've got to survive first. Rhodes doing some aggressive racing.
You got Moffitt as the leader, and he's a veteran. He's a smart guy. He's gonna be playing it cool here. And you're going to see the outside lane try to be as aggressive as they can to try to bump up ahead of this inside lane right now. Whew. Ankram's got his hands full, doesn't he? He's loose in that 26 truck.
That's when you're on the radio sometimes saying, tell him to get off of me. Why won't he get off of him?
That's Rhodes, man. He's pushing hard. He's like, come on, man, let's roll.
I don't like it.
Oof. Still got them all jacked up sideways.
Look at Todd Gillen. He was all the way off the road. He didn't like what he was seeing either.
It's like, see you guys. I ain't worried about how loose you are. I'm going this way.
Finally, Rhodes gets to the bottom. Now he's away from Tyler Ankram.
Now he's going to aggravate Gillen. Watch this.
All over him on the right rear, back to the center, left side.
What's the safest place to push, Kurt? If you're going to just bump and bump and bump, you can't lock up. Is it safer to push on that right rear?
You want to be to the center, to the right, yes. But you want to be as close as you can to the center. And you want to do little hits. Remember, if you hit them too hard, you're going to jack them up. It's just those little bump drafts that are key to gaining speed together. Definitely spilled his macchiato on that one.
That was wild.
It's like, pow.
There, another great run, Vince. He's been so impressive this rookie season. 19-year-old out of Wisconsin. I like what I'm seeing out of this kid.
And the shout out to the driver of that 15 truck, Tanner Gray, as well. We mentioned that really caused that incident with Gus Dean, but as far as Gray and what he has done the last couple of weeks with back-to-back third-place finishes, running inside the top 10 again today, really improved over the course of the second half of the season.
Yeah, you can really see the experience he's getting in the trucks pay off for Gray. Only a couple starts on the big super speedways in that 15 truck, and you're going to make mistakes. Oh, trouble ahead.
There it is. Just talking about Tanner Gray. Todd Gilliland looks like he's got an issue as well. And heavy damage to the 15.
You know, it's interesting, Vince. We were zeroed in on the 15, and we talked about we saw something go wrong, and the first reaction that we have is there's trouble ahead. Something precipitated what happened to Gray, and it looks like it might have been Gilliland's engine.
So Tanner Gray running inside the top 10, as was Gilliland. Gilliland was up in the 6th spot, and Gray was in 9th.
Things happen and change so quick at Talladega, and a lot of times it's just not even your fault. That's looking like an engine.
Heartbreaker for Todd Gilliland.
And it was, I've never seen anybody play the accordion, Vince, but as Kurt pointed out, again, it's the accordion effect.
And it's going to be about 4 or 5 trucks behind where the trouble started. And there's Gray. He gets spit out. Man, hard hit. Here's right along with Gray. Look at the Gray's what he's trying to look at. And was that a small hit from Austin Hill? Just a small little itty bitty hit as they were coming onto the straightaway. That's where vehicles are their loosest or their most vulnerable, is right on corner exit, right there.
Fortunate that didn't collect more.
We blow up?
Yeah, I think so. I have no RPMs. It felt like drive shaft at first, but motor's off.
And that's official. They said they are done. A pile of oil left behind in their pit box. Todd Gilliland, they had just said how good the truck was driving. It was much better than Daytona. They loved taking the time to get those adjustments. Their day is done. They said congratulations everybody on the season and what hard work they had coming into this race, but their day is done.
Well, unfortunate for Gilliland, who was runner-up here a year ago, and as we heard from him in the pre-race, he was very optimistic about
and doing a great job, Vince, as Kurt pointed out. Maybe the most aggressive guy, working the hardest, put himself in a great position. But I think we've just seen our first racer fall outside of the cut line and won't be able to advance the next round of the playoffs. But I'm going to tell you what this does, Kurt. This guy, Grant Enfinger, is the beneficiary of the trouble by Gilliland.
And Zane Smith too, right?
Exactly. He needs one more. He needs a little bit more help, does Zane Smith, as we race toward the checker. But now Grant Enfinger back on the lead lap. He knows how to win at Talladega. This is his home track. This could be a big part of this race for this team.
As Tanner Gray is put on the hook and being taken to the garage. Yeah, remember Enfinger was a couple of laps down because of that tire issue early. David Gilliland making that walk back. Coming back to Talladega. Stay with us. Thanks a lot, Caitlin. And you see just an absolutely gorgeous day. Talladega, Alabama on the Superspeedway, 2.66 miles, the biggest track, the steepest banking, and I think some of the most thrilling action you'll find anywhere in racing.
It keeps me on the edge of my seat, I can tell you that. And I know those fans in the infield, those racers really appreciate seeing people show up at the racetrack. And Kurt, I know you're looking forward to getting down there tomorrow and being a part of this massive, massive NASCAR race and seeing some friendly faces in the infield.
It's always great to have our fans come in, and whether it's 5% capacity, 25% capacity, as long as there's a couple out there, it gives you that spirited feel of we're racing today. But we want, of course, as many race fans as we can have back. And Talladega, it's the biggest track. We should be able to spread everybody out just the right amount.
It's nerve-wracking to watch. What's it feel? Both of you guys, obviously, Kurt, you're going to do it on Sunday. Michael, you raced in one Cup race at Talladega. What's it like in the car? Are you nervous as we watch? We feel nervous watching it. Do you feel that way in the car, or are you in your element?
Well, right now I have a hall pass. I won Vegas, and so I'm not as stressed as what the other championship contenders will be. And yes, it is stressful. You feel it a couple days out because you never know what's going to happen at Talladega. There's so much going on all the time that I feel like as a driver, I look, 80% of my vision is out up ahead looking for wrecks most of the time. And then you use your peripheral vision right in front of you to absorb the draft. And then you're using your butt to feel the seat and the handling of the car. And then you're communicating to your crew chief what you need. And then the spotter, he's going 1,000 miles an hour as far as information in your ears and trying to help you navigate around the track.
Well, Brett Moffitt, you see in the 23, has secured his spot into the next round, the round of 8, former series champion. Alan, what's going on with that crew today?
Well, he's loving it out there, out front of this field as they go will go green next time by. But he's been told to save fuel under this caution as much as he can. But also a majority of the talk on the radio is just the point situation for everybody else. What kind of aggression they need to watch out for. Brett Moffitt told trucks like the 99, the 98, the 26, they will be ultra aggressive, needing the points, trying to qualify themselves to move on the next round of these playoffs. So they're just keeping Brett Moffitt up to date on who needs what and who to look out for.
And you see Kurt, 23 leading the race, took the high side, and that's because his teammate Sheldon Creed, is on the inside. This will be a choreographed start. Moffitt will get the jump, and he will pull down on the inside in front of Creed, and they will continue to push forward. But I'm telling you, this is a dangerous game because when that inside line kind of backs things up, that means there could be some diciness go on back there. So let's watch this restart closely. We know what's going to happen on the front row. Let's make sure everybody in the back can do their job, knowing that maybe Sheldon Creed isn't going to get the restart of his career here. He's got to lay back a little bit to let his teammate over.
Yeah. Speaking of teamwork, how about the 88 third truck in line there on the inside? Radio from their team.
99 wants to get to the bottom with the 13 and get nose to tail here if we can. Yeah. There's somebody to push on that first stage too. Said you weren't even close to us. I want to go race forward, but that was not cool. Nah. If you don't like it, you can come down here and I'll introduce him to my bright knuckles.
So not always a loving environment amongst the teammates.
They'll hug after the race. They'll get over it. But what Ben Rhodes wants to do is pull down to the low side. But man, the further you get back, that's just almost impossible to do, right, Kerr? You can't be leaving gaps.
No, you got to stay in line, and I love all the excitement I'm hearing. Why are all the drivers so tense on the radio? I don't know what's going on. It's much easier from the booth to stay calm.
Yeah, especially amongst teammates. I mean, you're supposed to help one another.
I love it. Everybody's all fired up because we're trying to get through the playoff. We're trying to get through. We're trying to get to the next round. Everybody is all up on the gas.
They'll take the green. There'll be 41 to go for the Gander trucks at Talladega. Playoff elimination race. Todd Gilliland already out.
Well, that was a nice job by Creed and Moffitt to choreograph that restart, get Moffitt to the bottom, and now the teammates are going to be 1-2.
Derek Kraus in the 19, the third truck there on the inside line. Matt Crafton just behind him in that neon yellow. First truck on the outside is Johnny Sauter.
Matt Crafton, I'd like to introduce you to the inside. I think that's the first time I've seen you down there today. And look, magically up inside the top 5 in that 88 truck. Great work by the veteran Kraft, and even though he is a bit up on the chip with his attitude, he's doing a job behind the wheel. That's the way you got to be when you're a racer. You got to put all your heart and soul into it. It's very tense at Talladega.
And those silver trucks are his teammates, the 99 of Rhodes and the 13 of Sauter. 3 of them running right there together.
When you're confident in your moves and in your thoughts and in your voice, you just do it, you execute. So Crafton's on the inside right now, all by himself as a ThorSport guy.
Whoa. Moffitt felt the run coming on the outside from Sauter. He moved up to block the progress, and look what it did. It opened up that bottom lane for Sheldon Creed.
And that's where the 3rd truck in line with Crafton pushing the heck out of Kraus. That's when they want to attack, is when the leader makes a move, they're gonna jumble up that outside lane. They're gonna choke their speed down for a little bit. But now, look, you got even number of trucks inside and outside.
Right behind Crafton, that 52, the blue truck, the red numbers on top. That's Stuart Friesen.
3 wide.
Yeah, Moffitt tried to get down to make the block on Creed, was late on that, and around goes those ThorSports trucks.
Wow, and Moffitt stuck in the middle as you see our Xfinity fastest lap. It belongs to Friesen at better than 193 miles per hour.
One little mistake, that one little hesitant move on a block cost you 10 spots, just like that.
Kurt, do you ever lose sight of the fact that you're running 193 miles an hour? These things, the way they're bouncing around, and then you may maybe forget they're running nearly 200 miles an hour.
Speed's relative until you start sliding sideways, and then that concrete wall is coming up ahead. That's when you figure out how fast you're going. It's awesome. I mean, driving at 200 miles an hour in a draft against competitors that you have to work with, but also have to respect, but also you're out there to beat that guy, and you're out to outsmart him as well. That's what makes NASCAR racing so much fun.
What about Jordan Anderson and Clay Greenfield racing up inside the top 10? We talked at the top of the show about Jordan's race to the checkered at Daytona. He's done a nice job again today, as has Clay Greenfield. He's got Jeff Hammond, no stranger to victory lane here at Talladega, as his crew chief, and Greenfield's on the gas. There's Jordan in that black number 3 truck, working his way inside of Robbie Lyons. Lyons doing a nice job as well. I love when you get these names that you don't always get to talk about up inside the top 10, getting the job done. Creeping into the picture too underneath Lyons, there's Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, that's what these drivers love about the super speedway races. It gives those guys that maybe week in, week out don't have a chance to win, gives them an opportunity to sneak up and get that first victory. And we saw Jordan Anderson with that great run at Daytona, finished 2nd there, has high hopes today. And then you've got a driver like Todd Gilliland in that 38 that had the engine issue, and he's done for the day and will not be moving on to the round of 8 in the playoffs. He's with Jamie.
And Todd Gilliland came in with so much optimism for today. You really thought you guys had a great chance at this, but what exactly happened with that truck to put you out?
Bottom of the oil pan, so that's never good. But man, our truck was good. I could go where I wanted to. And the stage 1 was cool. Pushed our lane forward to get 2nd in the stage. Those points we needed, and we got some points on the 2nd stage. I really don't know how close we were, how far, but man, I wish we were out there right now. Speedco, Frontland Enterprises, Black's Tire, all our sponsors, Front Row Motorsports. Man, it sucks to be out of the playoffs, but we just didn't do great this round. We had 2 bad races on 1.5 miles to start, and just a bad race here today. So no excuse for it. Just didn't do our best, or we did our best, just didn't do great. So thank you to everyone, and we still have 5 more races to go out and try and win, but wish we were still in the playoffs.
Thanks, Todd. Vince?
4th straight finish outside the top 10, and it hasn't had that kind of streak all season long. Certainly disappointing for Gilliland after showing so much promise with some strong runs earlier this season.
You know, Vince, we're not going to know who the other guy out of this playoff picture is until one of them either A, has trouble, or till the checkered flag falls, because it's just that close, and these guys are racing up front, near the front. Points will change as we get to the checkered. So we're just going to follow this lap after lap. Very interesting there.
Yeah, and Zane Smith, who currently finds himself on the playoff bubble, 9 points to the good. He's out of the race. I mean, he's been out of the race since lap 13 in that big accident, but he's still alive as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Yeah, all he needs is for one of those guys, he's got enough of a gap, enough of a points build up to where if somebody has problems, he's going to get into the playoffs. So it's certainly anybody's guess who the next guy out will be.
Yeah, and that with Eckes riding towards the back right now, they're just waiting for laps to click off before he makes his move. And right now he's -7. The feelings of being -7 out and then being told to ride around in the back right now, that's one of the toughest things to do for a driver.
And certainly got to trust that crew chief, but he's got one of the best, Rudy Fugle. And there's the 98 of Grant Enfinger, who at one time today was 2 laps down. He's back on the lead lap now and is running 10th, believe it or not. There's Tyler Ankrum.
It's Talladega, Vince. I believe it. I probably won't believe what lies ahead. There's so many things that can happen here. You know, if we do have a green flag pit stop, which wouldn't be too many laps from now, Kurt, you know how crazy it is getting to pit road without getting run over. And these truckers have way less experience than you Cup guys. So this is something we'll have to watch real closely too, if they indeed decide to peel off and go to pit road. Now, if it was me, I would drive so far left, there would be no way anybody could hit me. But we don't see that happen a lot of times in the trucks.
Yeah, they don't have all the opportunities like we have in the Cup Series to do hot green flag super speedway pit entry. And at super speedways, you have smaller brakes on the truck normally, so it's definitely way more sketchy getting on the pit road. So we'll bring it down to Jamie on pit road and give us an update.
Yeah, Kurt, we're hearing different teams talking about when to pit exactly. In the 26, Tyler Ankrum, they're saying that window is going to open up in about 5 laps. So talk about what it's like, Kurt, to try to pit and come down in the middle of this mess under green.
The first step is, you know, if we're single file, then that's cool. Check that box off. That means I don't have to get from the middle or the outside lane down to the bottom when my crew chief says pit now, and you're like, well, I can't pit. I'm in the middle lane. So all these guys are on the bottom. They're all listening to their crew chiefs right now. This is what you would call a calm before the storm. And you're trying to make sure as a driver, though, that you do your best job in and out of pit road, and you got to wait on the fuel. You got to slip the clutch just right getting out of the pit box. That's when you can take yourself from the lead to 10th, or from 7th, 8th, 9th up to the lead. It's going to be a hot green flag pit exchange coming up.
Yeah, and it's intense when you do that. And if I'm the crew chief or team manager for these organizations, I get these young racers together on Monday and say, look, if we've got to make a green flag pit stop and then have some video lined up of all the times we've messed it up at Talladega, make sure these kids understand exactly what they need to do, which includes running wide open off turn 4 and then ducking underneath that yellow line and then getting on the brakes, getting yourself out of the line of traffic before you brake.
And then if you lock or flat spot up a tire, you have to radio that in. Your spotter has to help. And if you end up locking up any of the tires, now you've got a chance of a flat when you go back out if you don't get those tires changed.
You see there on the left-hand side of the screen of the full-time drivers in the field that have at least 1 win. The longest drought belongs to Johnny Sauter, 34 straight races, and Sauter is in the lead as we see 3 peel off to come to pit road, led by Austin Hill in that 16.
Toyota.
Yep. That was awesome, too. They did exactly what we said. They just jerked over to the left and got well out of the way. Great job by those racers. And you can see Friesen, top of the screen, no tires, just gas. What will the 16 do, Alan?
Same thing, just gas for the 16. Spotter Eddie DeHaan came on the radio and said, Austin, the race will be won or lost on this pit stop getting off the pit road. You can see him packing it full of fuel right now. No tires for the 16.
All right, round 1 on the pit road. We made it. Let's see if we can do it again. It wasn't without excitement, though. That's kind of cool to watch, wasn't it?
We didn't know those guys were peeling off it, but that was the team orders of the Toyotas peeling off.
Oh, and the 16 of Austin Hill going to get tagged for a speeding penalty. And now the Chevys head to pit road, led by Sheldon Creed.
You got it, and you win by numbers. There was only 3 Toyotas that pitted, and now there's 7 Chevys that are going to try to stay synced up together, but those Toyotas are going to be split apart. Let's go to Jamie with the 26.
Came a few laps before they had mentioned they were making their plans. They came in, it's going to be the same plan, a fuel-only Absolutely. Packet fuel here. Tyler incoming in the 26. They got it, Alan.
And Sheldon Creed getting fuel. You can see waiting just to fill up. They got a tear off the top of the windshield. Sheldon Creed on and off pit road.
44 of Trevor Bain.
Kaz Gralla actually in the 44, yeah. And good to see. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because it's great to see Kaz back in the Truck Series. First time since 2017. Won at Daytona back in 2017. And there's Austin Hill serving that speeding penalty.
And the majority of the Fords are pitting now. Got some fuel only.
Couple of Toyota
trucks,
too.
yeah.
You can see Kyle Busch Motorsports. Those 3 trucks come on. I like pitting first because there are fewer trucks, Kurt. That means there's less traffic. Maybe you get on and off pit road faster.
And there was some contact back there in the tail end of pit road.
Robbie Lyons sideways.
Yeah, I think Chandler Smith pulled out and wasn't quite clear. The 97 truck was there and there was contact. Just got to get it refired.
See what kind of damage maybe to the 51 of Chandler Smith, one of the Kyle Busch Motorsports machines. Didn't seem to be too significant of an impact, just enough to get Lyons out of shape there and unable to get into his pit box.
Here's the Chevys. They're rolling. I think they executed. I'm not biased or anything right now, but I think the Chevys executed the best out of the groups of trucks. And now we're going to see their momentum that's all tied together, how far up they're able to go.
There's the 45 of Trevor Bain. Bain, the 2011 Daytona 500 champion, and he finds himself working his way into contention in that Nice Motorsports truck. First time we've got a chance to call Trevor, but he knows what he's doing on the big tracks, and they are rolling, like you said, Kurt.
Let's see if they've got enough momentum to clear the Fords. But right now, that is as good as you can see groups execute pit road when they don't do it very often. So good job to everybody, and we'll see if they got enough fuel.
And that 52 truck, the Toyota of Stuart Friesen, but used to be part of that GMS group. 27 to go. Back at Talladega. Less than 25 to go for the Gander trucks in the playoff elimination race. 2 drivers will be eliminated after this race today. We know that one of those drivers will be Todd Gilliland, but who will be the other? Jinjo Cobb, the second truck in line there, is the race leader. She has yet to pit. Austin Hill just in front of her, the last car on the lead lap.
207 starts for Jinjo, and she's leading her first lap since here at Talladega in 2018. So great job for this small team to be able to hang out, stay out on the racetrack, try to catch a caution flag, but certainly get some notice for her and her organization. Good work.
Brian Doza just behind her, and he has also not yet pitted. There's Doza in the red and yellow, number 28. Those two have yet to pit, while for the most part the other front runners have all come to pit road for what they would anticipate is their final stop.
And right now this group is riding 18 seconds ahead of the pack. That pack will be coming in a hurry. But right now, this is the race. This is what I'm seeing. And right now, well, let's Alan, let's go to you on pit road with the 88.
Yeah, good cycle of pit stops for Matt Crafton and the 88 truck, and much calmer on the radio than we heard earlier in this race. Such an interesting relationship between driver Matt Crafton and crew chief Junior Joyner. They told Matt on the radio they made a handling adjustment. I checked with Junior Joyner what that adjustment was. He says, no, we didn't make an adjustment. I just wanted him to think we did. I want him to go out there and go out and try to win this race.
I love that. Those two have been together probably as long as Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson were, and they can do whatever they want to each other. That's great. I love that relationship.
A couple of California guys, Junior Joyner and Matt Crafton. Crafton third in line there behind Johnny Sauter and Christian Eckes. And remember, when Cobb and Doza pit, Sauter would become the leader.
Got a couple GMS trucks up on the outside lane and niche trucks back there. We got Gralla in the 44 helping push that outside lane with Ankrum. Lots of Chevys up in that outside lane. And another one back there jumping up. So this is when you start to get the count of which lane has more trucks. This is when the outside can make some ground.
You know, Vince, if you look at the points as they run now, you think, okay, Zane Smith's in trouble, right? He's above the cut line, but he's not even on the road. No, he isn't. I mean, we anticipate that these boys are going to get together. There's going to be more action. There's going to be more carnage. I can't imagine that they can get to the checkered flag racing like this. We've seen it time and time again. And if the right guy goes the wrong way, Zane Smith advances into the next round.
You're saying he's sitting in the hauler right now. He's been sitting in the hauler since the accident at lap 13, and he's still going to possibly advance to the next round of the playoffs?
No doubt.
There's a chance. I mean, hey, it's like he's a piece of bread sitting in the toaster right now, right? And it's turned all the way to dark, but nobody's pushed the button to make him turn from bread to toast yet.
The Gander RV and Outdoors, 20 to go, 20 left at Talladega. Well, that's like an eternity at this place, though, isn't it?
You know what's
20
funny?
laps.
You know, usually when you say 20 to go in the Gander Outdoors world, we're like, we've pretty much got this one figured out. We've had a dominant truck. We know who's going to be in position to win this baby. That is certainly and absolutely not the case here at Talladega. Any one of these trucks you see in this lead pack, or people that aren't in this lead pack can still go to victory lane.
How about the 99 of Ben Rhodes? He's the first guy on the outside looking in, Jamie.
8 points, actually 9 points back right now. And Ben Rhodes told me the first half of this race, he didn't want to hear anything about points. He said it gives him too much anxiety and it makes you make bad decisions as I keep my eye on him on the inside. Now the second half of the race, though, he wants to know exactly where he needs to be for the points. He was running third and they told him to stay there. He was good to go, but now he has fallen back just a little bit. As we can see, he's fallen back to 14th right now, Vince. Everybody keeping their eye on the 99 and their fingers crossed while they're at it.
Well, I tell you what, it is a tough task when you know you're on the wrong side of the cut line. TJ Majors doing the spotting for Ben Rhodes. Going to try to help him get up through the mix. Going to take a break, but you won't miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking from Dega. The Gander trucks at Talladega playoff elimination race. 2 will be eliminated after this race today. We know one of those will be Todd Gilliland. He's out of the race. And right now, Christian Eckes finds himself on the bubble. Eckes had a speeding penalty earlier today, but has recovered to run back up inside the top 10. He's on the bubble, 7 to the good, and Ben Rhodes, the first one on the outside looking in. And right now, Rhodes runs back in the 13th position.
So these boys are catching the group up in front of them 2 seconds a lap. 2 seconds. That's what trucks in the draft do versus only 2 trucks up front. We got some radio on the 99 truck.
98 will come with me. We can make one.
I need more than 2, man. I need way more than that.
Can make a run. Going into turn 3 next lap. It's 98, and the guys behind him will come with me. Do you think it's worth it, or are we going to lose a whole lot? Nothing really to lose, right?
I think I'll wait. I just don't. They need to be bunched up better, and I think that the team will probably decide that we need to wait. Can't wait much longer though, Vince. If you're in that position, knowing you need those positions, but I think I'd lay low here for a bit. Maybe when they catch this group of trucks ahead of them, it'll jumble up the running order. You know, anytime we see the lead pack catch a group of lappers, they have to go wide. They have to do something different, and sometimes it opens up opportunities.
Remember, Jinjo Cobb actually, as you see on the pylon, leads the race, and she's part of that group right there in that white truck, second in line behind Austin Hill. She's the leader, has yet to pit, while most of the others pitted at lap 65, 66. Her last pit stop was at lap 51.
Oh man, look, Vince, they're side by side as well. This is going to get dicey.
Right here as the fast group is catching that slower group. Sheldon Creed going to take them around the top side.
And ain't nobody going to lift in that group that's coming up. They're hammered down, and they are wanting to blow by this group as fast as possible. Looks like Jennifer's waving them off back there.
See the opportunity it created? Friesen
Absolutely.
to the bottom.
Good move.
Sheldon Creed to the lead. Brett Moffitt right behind him, his teammate. And Kaz Grala, that white 44, third in line. Hasn't been in a truck since 2017. He's run some Xfinity Series races this year. Even stepped in for Austin Dillon, ran the road course race on the Cup side.
I'd call him the wild card right now. Krala, he's got the desire, the heart, and the drive right now, and the opportunity is right in front of him. Got him sideways.
That was Eckes. Did he save it?
Christian Eckes down.
He did save it.
Off the track and back on.
He saved it. He lost a ton of time. Didn't run into anybody, so we're going to stay green. Here's the replay. Let's watch the safe flight truck in the middle. And he's going to get pinched a little bit.
Oh, great save.
Like Johnny Sauter came down on him just a little bit, but Eckes was able to gather it up somehow.
That could have been the end of his championship hopes, but he's able to race on. He's certainly not out of it.
That's what Ben Rhodes needed, though. Rhodes was able to gain spots. Eckes lost spots, and they swapped positions from the bubble to the outside, Jamie.
And Ben Rhodes' radio right there, he said, I think that was the 18 that got shuffled. That is the one team that they are watching right now. So the 88, Ben Rhodes, 4 to the good as of now. 99, I should say, 5 to the good.
And you said it best, Jamie, when you added as of now, because that's going to change again and again.
Awesome save, though, and right now that's going to keep him in the game, but he's right now the first guy out. And here's Zane Smith sitting in the hauler, gaining spots with these guys moving around. That's how close it is on who's going to advance.
Coming to 10 to go, 10 laps remaining.
Looks like Grala might have got shoved out of line. He's going to have to go back there and reset, work his way back up.
Sheldon Creed crossing the line, leading them around with Brett Moffitt behind. Stuart Friesen sits third.
Back there somewhere, Grala's going to find his teammate Trevor Bayne. Maybe they can hook up and race toward the front. But what a race for Sheldon Creed. He's been the fastest truck. He's taken control of this race, but still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Creed, a 3-time winner this season. Won Stage 1 and Stage 2 last week at Las Vegas, but didn't get the race win, and that was a heartbreaker for him.
What a great battle it was all the way to the checker, though. Out in Vegas, great racing out there. The Sunday race with Kurt Busch taking the checker flag was certainly special as well.
It wasn't too bad, but here we are. We're getting down to it. Less than 10 to go with Creed controlling the race, and then with a lap truck of Austin Hill. He's running third on track, but he's a lap down right now in that 16 truck. He could throw a little wrench in here.
He's looking for the caution.
And remember, Hill has gone a lap down because of a speeding penalty on pit road during that last round of pit stops.
How many times have we said this? Brett Moffitt runs second. Moffitt hasn't been to victory lane this year, certainly been in a position to do so repeatedly. One race that comes to mind for me was the road course at Daytona, where he just hounded. Uh-oh, something happened ahead. Look at the momentum.
The inside lane checked up, but we're riding along with Crafton right now, looking back at Eckes. That's your bubble. Right there, those two guys.
Yep, Crafton 4 to the good, 3 to the good now, and it's Eckes on the other side of the bubble line.
If I'm Eckes right now and I see those two niche trucks on the outside and my team said I can go, I'm going to follow those guys. I have to get, there you go, buddy. You got to get ahead of that bubble guy Crafton if you're going to give yourself a shot at it.
And he's going to get the Rackley roofing truck of Greenfield to come up there as well. So he wasn't the last guy in line. That'll help his cause also.
And more trucks will go to the outside. It pulls that inside lane back. So we saw earlier Ankrum was a little loose leading the pack. Let's see what he can do this time around.
Yeah, it's Tyler Ankrum, the first truck there on the outside, and then he's got a couple of niche trucks right there behind him. The 45 is Trevor Bayne. The 44 is Kaz Gralla, and then right behind the 44 of Gralla is Christian Eckes, who has just moved 1 point above the cut line. And Matt Crafton in that neon yellow 88 is now below the cut line.
44, 45, 26 there in front of you. Inside 3, half up. Easy, watch it 2, get up top, keep coming hard up top. Don't check up, keep coming hard up top. It's all good, keep coming hard up top. Keep digging that top.
Sheldon Creed, the race leader, with a problem.
You were just riding live with that truck. That was the team communication on counting trucks and telling them what to do. Keep your foot in it. And right now, Creed, the leader, had trouble. I don't know what's up.
Jumped out of line, and Stuart Friesen able to take the lead.
Something broke, I think.
Yeah, truck doesn't just slow down. Oh, wow.
Traction. Broke traction.
I think he's got a flat.
I don't know what side it is. But the way it jerked around on you in the middle of 1 and 2, it's got to be right rear.
Right side's only for the 2 truck coming down pit road right now. Just said they have a tire going down. They're going to make a right side change now that we're under caution, guys.
Yeah, you can see it's the right rear, Alan, and what a save he made. And now the caution's out, so his day's not over either.
So debris from the 2 truck has brought out the caution. We're going to have a shootout here at Talladega. Just what we need. We're going to bunch them all together and then run it to the line for a few laps.
Vince, we've already had an 88-lap shootout. Every lap is just so intense, and now it's for all the marbles. Can these boys keep the trucks pointed in the right direction and settle it on the track all the way to the checkered? It's certainly doubtful, but let's hope so.
Wow.
Let's hope it's just a clean battle to the checkered.
This is incredible. We've got all these guys back in points right now. Zane Smith +5, Rhodes +2, Ankrum +2, Crafton -2. That's what this system's all about as far as working your way through to get to the next round in the playoffs.
And then you've got guys like Friesen or Lassard, Chandler Smith, even Trevor Bayne for that matter, that they're not in the playoffs, but they want to win races. Friesen has been second this year. Lassard has gotten better as a rookie as the year has progressed. Chandler Smith looking for his first career win. Trevor Bayne back in the in the mix of the NASCAR series again. So there's a lot of, just because you're not in the playoffs doesn't mean that there's not something out there for you to get.
They don't care. Those guys you mentioned don't care about the playoffs right now. They just want to go to victory lane at Talladega Superspeedway, one of the most manly tracks we go to, where you really want to go out and say, man, I conquered Talladega. And you've got Stuart Friesen in a position to do just that. And you know, when Chandler Smith burst on the scenes, Vince, we thought he was just a win waiting to happen. Second at Bristol in one of his first few starts. Now he finds himself in a position to win at Talladega.
Yeah, 5th the last 2 weeks. And as you said, Mike, just a win waiting to happen, and we'll see if Smith can do it. And even Tyler Ankrum or Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton, as long as he's been around, the 44-year-old 3-time series champion, never won on a super speedway. Could get that first one today.
He's driven like a champion today. The way he fought and battled 3 wide on the outside. You heard him get a little disgusted during the middle parts of the races and then calm right down when he finally did get to the bottom. He's racing right up front, trying to dig and get up in that top 5.
Well, as they come towards the start-finish line, we're going to end up with 4 to go. I don't know if this is 1 to go just yet, but 4 laps versus 3 laps can change the complexion of this race, any restricted plate race for that matter.
I'm ready. I want 1 to go.
That was 2 to go. We're told teams are being given the word 2 to go. Stuart Friesen with the lead, and Tyler Ankrum running second, and an opportunity for both of them to get their first win this season. Jamie?
And Rudy Fugle with the shot, calling the shots for Christian Eckes. 2 to go right now, Rudy. At one point recently, you guys bobbled, you were out. Now you're 2 to the good. What do you say to your driver, if anything, right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's Talladega is always exciting. So you're never safe. There's a million different scenarios that put us in and put us out. There's a couple that lock us in. You know, if we stay ahead of the 99 and finish ahead of them, that's a lock. And if we finish in the top 6, that locks Zane out. So if we can try to control our own destiny and just do that, then. But realistically, we just got to be rolling as we cross the finish line and see what happens.
Thanks, Rudy. Good luck.
That's Christian Eckes. He runs 10th. Ben Rhodes is 7th.
If we finish 3rd, we're all good. That's all we got to do. Nothing else matters if we finish 3rd or better.
Sounds like my only guarantee at the moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to finish 3rd.
It's your only guarantee at the moment.
Right now, Rhodes is +1.
You know, it's funny. Kurt and I are looking at each other, talking back and forth about who's +1, who's +2, what's going to happen. These teams have more information on their computers than we have, and we're kind of spinning out over, our brains are burning smoke out of them as we're figuring it out. Imagine what it's like with all the information the teams have.
And the 88 of Matt Crafton. Alan?
Tensions rising once again on the 88 radio. Look, for a long time they wanted to get to the bottom. Like we were saying, they were running well. Well, this last run, whether it's the track changing, the truck handling changing, it's the top that is benefiting them more. So Matt Crafton trying to get to the top. He's been asking, how far are we out? Where do we stand? The team not exactly telling him, just telling him to focus on passing the 18 truck.
Yeah, I mean, +1 or -1, I mean, that changes with the momentum of a line, right? I mean, that can change so easily here at Talladega.
But with Crafton's scenario from his crew chief, that's when you're now focused on one guy. And that makes it a lot simpler than, oh man, we got to be P3, or hey, we got to jump ahead of these guys. If Crafton's told to focus on just beating the 18 heads up, that's when it clears up. And that's what I'm sure they've told the 18 truck as well. He's just got to beat the 88.
And what about the 98? 2 laps down early in this race, and now he finds himself in a position, if he's rolling at the checkered, he's going to advance.
Oh, he's got 17 points. He's good. That's what's crazy. His 15 is like, all right, 10, that's not so good. Less than 5, that's just, we can't keep up. That can change in 1 lap.
And then you hear, you mean I just got to beat one guy?
That's simple.
Out of all these 20-some?
That's simple if you look at it that way.
Coming to the finish here at Talladega, getting ready for this restart. We're going to be off next week, and then 4 races remaining before we get that champion crowned, and it begins in a couple of weeks at Kansas Speedway on Fox. And then we go to Texas Motor Speedway on Sunday, October 25th, and we'll set that championship 4 at Martinsville on the 30th of October, and then we'll celebrate and crown a champion November 6th at Phoenix.
Man, that's music to my ears, Vince, watching these playoff races roll toward Phoenix, go to the Southwest and see who's able to come away with a championship trophy.
So here I am as a racer. I can't drive all these trucks at once. I can't explain all the emotions and all the thoughts and all the strategies in just this short half lap while we're still under caution. But as a racer, if you're not on that front row, let's take third, fourth on back, you want to have a smooth restart where you're pushing the guy in front of you, and you don't want to lose and crack the throttle. You don't want to lose any momentum. The guys behind, they're doing the same thing. The guys even further back, they're trying to just stay on the throttle and keep their momentum up and not have a big moment of losing speed. Now, Friesen, Ankrum, they've got a different game going on because they're with the ability to lead, and they're going to try to keep that truck behind them attached to them to be able to jump ahead of the other guy and lead this thing and be the leader.
The 4 years of this format, a playoff driver has never won. Spencer Boyd last year declared the winner after Johnny Sauter was penalized on the last lap. Sauter actually crossed the line first, but was penalized for going below the double yellow line to block. Timothy Peters, Parker Kligerman, and Infinger was just a part-time driver when he won in 2016. It was just his 13th career start. So
it's on, boys.
You know, we talked about choreographed starts. This won't be. Stuart Friesen is going to try to get to the bottom and lead this race and have Rafael Lessard push hard.
And keep an eye on the 99, the 18, and the 88. Those are the three drivers around the bubble and fighting for that final position as far as a playoff survivor is concerned. We're back green with a couple to go at Talladega. Rafael Lessard giving a big push to Stuart Friesen out front.
In the inside lane, got lined up way quicker. Everybody bailed out of the top lane. Way more trucks on the inside. A 13 is the one that got a bad restart.
Trevor Bayne in the 45 and Ben Rhodes in the 99 right on his bumper.
Push.
Brett Moffitt is there in the 23. Jordan Anderson in the 3.
And he says, see, I'm going this way.
Oh, and he's got a checkup right there. Lessard made the block.
Now Bain's got some help from behind with Tyler Ankrum, Chandler Smith, Derek Kraus.
Crafton looking for somewhere to go way back there, but Friesen right now, he's busy. He's trying to block all lanes.
Oh, Ankrum gets up and out of the mix.
Lessard.
Ankrum needs those positions. He needs those points.
Rafael Lessard now getting a big push from Ben Rhodes while Trevor Bayne is giving a shove to Stuart Friesen. It's the final lap at Talladega for the Gander trucks.
It is all on the line. These guys are pushing. They're not worried about it anymore, about saving this or saving that. This is wide open, 3, 4 wide. Everybody's changing lanes. Lessard sideways is the leader on the inside.
Oh, Ben Rhodes trying to keep it gathered up. Some contact, and now around goes Friesen.
Will they stay green?
Ankrum is around as well.
So is Eckes.
Oh, the yellow is out.
And the caution has come out.
And as they're scored, I have Friesen on my board, but I don't see him.
Rafael Lessard.
Where'd he go?
Was out there at the front as well. That's Lessard and Trevor Bayne running as the top two. And there's Austin Hill getting out of his truck as it's on fire.
And as we stand right now, Ankrum is in, and Eckes is out.
There's why you didn't see Friesen. And that's
he was leading.
That's where our
so there was 2 different wrecks.
Christian Eckes there in the 18. They'll have to go to the video and also check the scoring loops.
I think if I had to, I hate to speculate, but I think the 4 truck of Rafael Lessard had control of the race when the caution flew, but we'll have to see. Trevor Bayne thought he did. He drove around Lessard going to the checkered.
Tough break for Friesen.
Really tough break for Christian Eckes as well.
Boy, and for Rafael Lessard, how big it is, and he has been declared the winner. The 4 of Rafael Lessard, the young Canadian, the 19-year-old from Quebec, gets his first career win, and he does it at Talladega.
Muscled his way up through there on that restart and was able to get to the bottom and have those trucks on the bottom stay with him. But man, there was chaos everywhere. Everybody was going for all that they could get. And it's amazing to see how the playoff points all turned out. And right now, Zane Smith, who was wrecked way back, will advance.
That is so cool for Rafael Lessard.
And Christian Eckes, heartbroken. He was in a great position, but he's going to have to get into the ambulance for that ride to the care center. as is mandatory, and he will not move on to the next round.
Wow.
While his teammate Lassard celebrates the win.
And that's just the way owning one of these NASCAR teams work. One guy out, one guy celebrating in victory lane.
Well, and with the accident happening behind them, it would have been interesting to have seen Lassard and Trevor Bayne maybe battle it out to the finish. But Lassard gets that opportunity to do the burnout the first time in his NASCAR career.
He's just gotten consistently better and better, Vince. All year long, we talked about it. His improvement behind the wheel has been remarkable, and he's rewarded with a win at Talladega.
Impressive job. It's about being in the right place at the right time. And like you said, Michael, it's bittersweet. It's heartbreak and agony in one side of it, and then it's joy and satisfaction for Kyle Busch Motorsports to have this guy as a winner at Talladega, and to have Ankrum miss the cutoff and not have a shot to race for the championship.
The fifth different driver to get his first career win this season, joining Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, Sam Mayer, and Brandon Jones. And the third different driver with KBM to win, joining Brandon and Kyle Busch. And today is Rafael Lassard's day. Alan?
We'll give him a minute to catch his breath. This track, the last few years, has always delivered a surprise in terms of the playoff race here at Talladega for the trucks. Another one delivered today. Rafael Lassard, career win, #1. Tell me about those last few laps.
That was awesome. First of all, I want to thank everyone back home, my team, Kyle Busch Motorsport, Ken Eck on board with us this year. Man, Mobile One, Toyota, TRD. This is amazing. I can't believe it. It's my second Super Speedway race, and doing my first truck series win here is amazing.
We'll show you the replay of just how close this was coming to the caution. What's going through your head as there's nothing between you except some feet?
Yeah,
and the
it was like,
flag.
I don't know who was behind me, but he gave me a heck of a push. I can't thank him enough because he's part of that win too. He pushed me as hard as he could, and I was just holding on for the ride, and damn, the caution came out at the right time, and I'm so happy. It's my first time doing a burnout after a win, so man, I loved it. Hopefully I can do it some more.
You are a rookie. Tell me what this year has been like for you. Your family's in Canada. I know you haven't been able to travel or see them as much as you would in any normal year. What's it been like for you, and then to have it end like this?
It's been pretty crazy to be. I moved here in Mooresville, North Carolina, in January, and it's a crazy year to be your first time moving from home, and my family is all in Quebec, Canada, so it's been crazy. I haven't seen them in a while, but I want to say hi to everyone back in Quebec, my family, and damn, I needed that. We had a tough season, so this one feels really good.
A big celebration all over North America, guys.
Yeah, the fifth foreign-born driver to win in the series, and the first career victory for Rafael Lassard. The first full-time driver for Kyle Busch Motorsports to win this season as well. So a little celebration in the KBM camp. Lassard wins at Talladega.